Breaking news coming in. A very good morning. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Divya Vadva. The breaking news coming in on this hour is 2611 Investigation Court has allowed NIA to record Tahawwur Rana's voice sample. That is the breaking news that we have for you at this point in time. So the National Investigating Agency will be recording Tahawwur Rana's voice sample. This is the latest in the investigation where the court has given permission to the NIA to record the voice of Tahawwur Rana in the 2611 blast that took place in Mumbai in 2008. Do remember that Tahawwur Rana has been in the custody of the NIA, and of course, while trying to move the court in order to be allowed to speak to his family is something that Tahawwur Rana had tried in the past, but the NIA had come down heavily, saying that he might divulge with some sort of secrets and some sort of very important information could be given out through that mode, and that was stopped. Now we have, of course, this latest coming about. Aishwarya joining us on the phone line. Aishwarya, breaking news coming in regard to the NIA being allowed to record the voice of Tahawwur Rana in order to obtain that voice sample.
Well, that's right. The Special NIA Court has allowed the National Investigation Agency to obtain voice and handwriting samples of 2611 mastermind Tahawwur Rana, who is currently in the NIA custody. Rana, remember, was recently extradited from India from the United States, and the Special NIA judge granted approval for the NIA's request to collect handwriting and voice samples of Tahawwur Rana. Remember, it was earlier in a charge sheet which was filed by the Mumbai police stated that Tahawwur Rana had spoken and to the masterminds there back in Pakistan as well, and he was accused in the 2611 Mumbai terror attacks. At that point of time, the call recordings were seized by the NIA during the investigation and the police investigation as well. During the hearing, the NIA informed the court that Rana had been confronted with substantial volumes of records and evidences that are related to 2611 Mumbai terror attacks, and the agency argued that further custody was necessary to complete his interrogation. While seeking extension to his remand, the NIA argued that Rana had been evasive during questioning and was not cooperating with his investigation. Therefore, the reason perhaps to have further investigation into the case, the NIA requested the Special NIA Court to collect the voice and the handwriting samples of Tahawwur Rana, which now the Special NIA Court has granted permission to the NIA.
Right, given the fact from what we know right now is that the permission has been granted to the NIA to collect handwriting samples as well as voice samples of Tahawwur Rana, the key conspirator, the mastermind behind the attack. Now, take us through, of course, the custody. How long does the NIA have the custody of Tahawwur Rana?
Well, on Monday, the same court has extended the National Investigation Agency custody to Tahawwur Rana for further 12 days. Remember, during that time, during the hearing, the NIA informed the court that Rana had been confronted with substantial volumes of records and evidences related to 26 Mumbai terror attacks, and the agency argued that further custody was necessary to complete his interrogation, and therefore the reason perhaps the same court granted 12 days of custody to further interrogate Tahawwur Rana in the same case. While seeking an extension, we also got to know that the NIA also argued that Rana has been completely evasive during questioning and was not cooperating with the investigation. The agencies emphasized the need for further custodial interrogation to extract crucial information related to the involvement of Tahawwur Rana in the attack, and certainly after that, 12 days further custody was granted by the NIA to the NIA by the court. Now it has been also come into light that after the repeated request being made to the Special Court, the Special Court has finally granted NIA permission to collect voice and handwriting samples of 2611 mastermind Tahawwur Rana, who was extradited from the United States to India.
Right, Aishwarya, of course, when we talk about, the previous court had mandated that, a medical checkup would take place every 24 hours for Tahawwur Rana, and that, lawyer consultation can only take place on alternate days. Does that still stand, given the fact that, this had come up for that extension that has been granted to the NIA?
Well, all of the terms had been extended by the Special Court who was hearing the case. Of course, the medical treatment needs to be done, and that has been the procedural, steps that had been had been continuously done by the NIA, and it has been submitted to the court as well while the hearing was on, and Tahawwur Rana was produced at the NIA court. In the legal proceedings, it was also stated the NIA was represented by the senior advocate Dayan Krishnan and Special Public Prosecutor Narendra Man, who stated that it is, of course, for further interrogation, as Tahawwur Rana has been completely silent and he has not been responding to the investigation, the interrogation that the NIA wanted to conduct. There are more days that they wanted to take custody of him, and therefore the reason perhaps a 12 days custody was given. And now after this permission that the court has granted to collect voice and writing sample, this will certainly finalize the lead and can link up upon how earlier the evidences that had been collected by the investigation agency during 26/11, and when Tahawwur Rana had contacted the masterminds back in India, that time the voice sample will be collaborated with the voice sample of Tahawwur Rana that will be collected now after the permission being granted. So a series of cues that and puzzles that the NIA wanted to solve in that direction, of course, a big step, and a permission that is being granted by the special court.